And when you get to do it enough and you get to fall in love with it, it's, whew, who needs heroin? I've got a microphone. It's so much better.
Walking my own path, inspiring my own story, reconciling my future and my past. Welcome to my show.
Yeah. And my neighbor had the nerve to say, I should be glad they didn't steal my TV. But man, I ain't in there. I'm in the spine of the book, the feel of the word, the smell of the page.
Remind yourselves that the ocean is an ocean for a reason. Don't expect your friends to meet you every time you come up for air. Some days you have to swim for your lives, and it's hard damn work remembering which body of blue is sky and which is water.
They said you'd better get a lawyer. They said you didn't read the fine print. They said everything was legal. They said everything was permitted. They said natural gas was clean. So why are your hands so dirty?
Come on now.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed tips are here on earth. Thy kingdom come. Is your will being done? Because 19 babies lay in a Texas church, on earth as it is in heaven. No, wait, on earth as they return to heaven, return to sender, to the one who lends her or lends him. Life is but a vapor, how quickly lifeless bodies hit the ground like dew in the morning.
Should I be gunned down tomorrow? May the news headlines paint me beautiful. Paint me truth. Paint me in full color, not just in black. Paint me human.
And I speak this poetry to my writer friends, audiences, to let them know that inside you are all heroes. Because sometimes this poetry, it be like holy scripture.
Learning to lie is hard. At first, it feels wrong. Your words stumble and your tongue twists, but if lying is what keeps you safe, you do it better and faster and harder till you can't remember a time before it was easy.
I was a homeless boy on dangerous, hungry streets. No teeth but all swallow. And I own a home now. Found a sort of life that is my own. One where I do not fear the dark, but I laugh in it.
Soaked in your magic. Delight in it. Finally, know that you are the prize and always have been. Andy was wrong. The music was right.
Who are you if you're always doing what you should do? This art is my practice of doing what I would do. Saying what I would say, praying what I would pray, dancing how I would dance, pressing how I would pray, standing how I would stand, thinking what I would think, feeling what I would feel, being who I would be.
So you could slosh around the house afterwards and sleep the pain off. Often, we eat in silence. Words unable to describe just what this intimacy tastes like until one day, with a silence was the single loudest thing I ever heard.
As I drove in the rain, past sidewalks covered with grass, broken glass, garbage-filled lots, boarded houses, I glimpsed a black boy. His lips curled to his ears, his chest open, his arms extended, his hands palm up, catching raindrops as if each were candy as he stood tiptoe on the top step of his dilapidated porch with no fear of falling.
The sun gives life, but slowly takes death. So do you see a problem with this picture? They should really be listening to us before it's too late. Because these crusts can turn into action faster than white people taking our culture trying to imitate.
Priding ourselves in the projection that we are winning an imaginary race, then we look down on ourselves when we cannot keep up the pace. We spend dollars while chasing dimes. We're killing ourselves on a quest to survive. Even the earth rests.
And I could not recognize who was staring back at me. I had her eyes, his heart, her ears, his thoughts, and damn, I hated how all y'all shit looked on me.
Reigns over my sunshine bloodline, and the spirit creates birth with a breeze. I just breathe.
I am the granddaughter of a great jazz and blues man who spent his whole life with his hand wrapped up around the neck of some strung up branch rather than the other way around. And that right there is something like survival.
Finally at peace with the vastness of the stars to keep us company, but Arnaldo is 7. and I am 32. And neither of us have figured out if we're meant to be wild horses or businessmen, quiet as church mice, or as loud as cathedral bells.
I think I'll get something to eat from that sandwich place. But my wallet's gone and there's a bottle of burnt-ass gin in this place. Dirty clothes on me, pants getting held up with a string around the waist. The homeless man is gone, he's vanished. And I start to panic and I start to scream. But all I can seem to say is, have you ever seen my baby girl?
Listen, I would never call my father a liar, but I know a whispering reassurance of husband when I hear it, for I have collected threads of security from the cushioning blankets of Christ just to call every bed we lie in together holy. So excuse me if I have a hard time understanding the disconnect between love and choice.
And it's crazy because when I wrote this, I made sure I shed a tear on every line so I knew what it felt like to make a poem cry.
See, I'm protected by the best, starring crescents on my neck, shield, sword, and a vest, tagged and bagged all my vices, gave the devil a bow and arrow, stretched out my arms, told him aim from my chest.
There was protest before I was born. Protest now I'm alive. My mama protested. I stood on the front lines. I have a son now. I'm afraid the only thing I'll pass down is depression and a picket sign.
5 steps ahead of the game, yet think we know not what we know to survive. It's not easy. It's awkward, uncomfortable, itchy. We want comfort immediately. Instant gratification.
Being sensitive is so exhausting when people would rather question than comprehend. People find out how easy it is to make me explode, and most would rather just cut the wire instead of defusing the bomb. And the irony is that I'm liable to go off either way.
Ooh. Blood, sweat, and tears to water the lawns to your home will wait for the right heart to come along, but a house is simply seeking a peep.
Her life's a haunted fairy tale. As the pages turn, she longs for a happy ending, not realizing she's writing the book with power to dictate how it ends.
Yeah.
The loudest sound in attendance was laughter, until it wasn't. I mean, take me back to the days when she was still here, and 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 she was still here. I mean, why everybody I love gotta be so good at becoming ghosts?
And I asked him, have you ever loved a piece of broken glass with my blood spilled across the pieces, a river, a rainbow from my tears? I didn't feel worthy because I hadn't picked the pieces up myself. He told me that only broken glass makes beautiful cathedrals, and the pain from my past only created a more beautiful picture that he could see the constellations in my scars. Black girl been a queen, so don't you forget. Run and tell those babies how they came from me. Ask your granddaddy why he can't look me in the eyes 400 years later. Black girl been his desire. Black girl been tired.
A butterfly settles near a herd of boys flowering. They draw closer. You see, the butterfly doesn't flutter. They raise their hands to prove they're unarmed. Hundreds of mahogany-colored butterflies burst out of them like lightning joining hands with fireworks. But only God seemed to notice this glitz.
Murder the Messiah and its centuries of holiday, but murder Abel and its centuries of Africans oriented to be ornaments and firewood.
I want to pour more and more than Mormons give praise. I want to court more than all 4 of the Brontes. I want to raise the thrill of the chase and erase villains with ease. I want Jane Austen to call me boss when I've exhausted her sense and sensibility.
Venom flows from bite stings from the ankles to the thighs to the thighs to the eyes to the fatty tissue of the brain. The burning shoots through your veins. The poison overwhelms you. They slither.
I was bullied a lot, so I have a problem with not being seen. I got footprints for scars because I used to be a rug. Now I just shrug my shoulders whenever it's my turn to step. You should know.
See, magic never happens,
center frame so I can bask in this moment, acting like I'm Hova, asking, are you not entertained?
Woo! Can't be broke in this economy. Hell, can't be broken either. Because how you gonna pay homage to your trauma if you can't afford to?
And if I didn't want my family breaking bread at my repast, I had to learn how to hold my breath.
Because she knew every time she prayed the words, now I lay me down to sleep, he would end up in her sheets.
And my mama, so black, when you sit her next to God, you can barely tell the difference. My mama, oh yeah. My mama, so holy.